It's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. It is 7:30 Sunday evening, time for some more Sunday night live chat. Got a great group here ready to go on YouTube. Looks like we are connecting on Facebook as well. Who is here and ready to go tonight? Buick Man's here. Planet Wisconsin back. Neil's here. Matt's on. Randy with the Nut Farm. Let's see. JP's back with us. Frank's here. Bill Wagaman made it. Kevin L. Pete's here. Glad you guys all made it. Cold. It is plenty cold. It is too cold. It is ridiculously cold. 25 in PA, 28 in Idaho. I'm showing 15 right now. And it sucks. It's miserable. So I would be happy with your 28. Unfortunately, it's not what we have here. So, but anyway, let's get things rolling with a Hudson badge and get started tonight. Austin made it. Tim B's here. -16 at Tim's. You can keep that. I don't feel quite as bad now. This guy's putting up 28, and I was like, you guys are having a heat wave. Anyway, been a busy week. Lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff coming up. We got a busy night tonight, everybody. So let's get rolling. Mike from Texas is here. Scott made it. My voice is somewhat back. I'm coughing a little bit, but not near as bad, so we'll see how the night goes. Jim's here. But anyway, I've had a lot going on, even though it's been a cold, nasty week. I had a lot going on this week. Briggs made it back. John Sanderson's here. Great to see all those familiar faces back and ready to go tonight. Birch Adventures, snowing in Maine. I did see Jim on there a little bit. I actually texted him a little bit ago. He was going to try to call tonight, but I have not heard back from him yet. So I don't know, Steve. I do not want it to be cold, but it is. Big Red made it. That's very true, JP. I will agree with that. It is that cold. It is ridiculous. We got a couple more days of. We're supposed to be back in the mid-40s by end of the week, but we are not there yet, and we've still got snow on the ground. So even when it starts warming up, it's going to be muddy at the yard, unfortunately. So it's kind of about what we got to deal with. But anyway, what? Yes, can I help you? You come up to say hi to everybody? So how are you doing? Huh? How are you doing? Just kind of jumped right on up in here. You just going to take over there for a minute? You just going to park over there on the magazine or what? You going to sit there for a minute so we can keep going here or what? All right, you stay over there. Dad's here with us. That's true, Planet Wisconsin. A nice warmed-up car is great. Scott, Rebel Driver's Garage, checking in from the frozen tundra of Nebraska. Mike's with us from the West Coast, high of 64 today on Facebook. So I think everybody hates you now, Mike. We're glad you're here anyway, but we don't want to hear about it 64 there. That's true, Scott. John Craman passed away with Meum, kind of a staple of Meum auctions for a long time. Saw that on Facebook, Briggs, but don't know for sure. That was at Barrett, and they said the floor gave away. That after they set the lifts up and the car was on it, the floor gave away and tilted the lift, and that's what caused it. Is what I saw, is the floor gave away on that lift deal. Let's see. Yeah, no kidding, Planet Wisconsin. What's 64 degrees? I agree. So, anyway, Kenny made it tonight. You okay over there, Gray Kitty? You good? All right. Number 1 made it. Slide an Auburn badge up there. But yes, we will get to Meum. We've actually got a lot to talk about with Meum. Dennis Chapman made it. But before we get too far into things, a little bit of housekeeping. Autocorrect, please double check your autocorrect before you hit send. If I cannot make out your comment, I will have to skip it. I try to catch most of them. I do miss some, but please make sure that your autocorrect doesn't screw it up. Balin Wire made it. Huge shout out to Balin Wire. Been hooking us up on Toy Tuesdays. Don't forget him. Be sure to check out his channel. Snowgeddon sounds interesting. If you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. There goes the hearts. I love the hearts. I cannot see the comments on the Nobody Show Facebook page. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. You'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel to comment, participate in the auctions. If you want to watch there, hang out, you're perfectly good. I just cannot see those comments. Trolls, we do occasionally get trolls on here. You guys do a great job of taking care of them. Make sure they know they're not welcome. We have switched to subscriber only on YouTube. So if you've not been a subscriber for 5 minutes, you cannot comment until you hit the subscribe button and 5 minutes have passed. So between that and our moderators, we've gotten a lot of that stuff taken care of. Super chats are great. We got a super chat last week. Always appreciate those. And ads are something we are dealing with, unfortunately. It is YouTube. It's their game. They run ads. There's nothing we can do about it. So Joe S. made it. Planet Wisconsin bought Seinfeld's Porsche. Yeah. Which didn't sell, by the way, unless they got a deal put together afterwards. But Bert's Adventures, love the Kingswood wagon video. Awesome. Mary's here with us tonight. Glad you enjoyed that, Bert. That video is gaining a little bit of traction. If you haven't caught the video on the 70 Kingswood wagon, 454, 12 bolt, 9 passenger, luggage rack, cruise control, power disc brakes, super killer car. Frank White from McPherson made it. Glad Frank's here with us back again. Did they list it sold Planet Wisconsin? They closed the bid at $25 million, but they didn't have it sold. So you're out of luck on that, Buick, man. Old school's been back. Been watching too much Meum. I would imagine so. I know the feeling. Speaking of which, we'll just go ahead and roll right into it. Lots of conversations about Meum. I did watch a lot of it. Dad's car did get here this week, so excited about that. We'll be getting some content put together on that car that he got out of Kissimmee the first week. Nut Farm fired up his old 53 Dodge today. Yeah, that's right. It was. We just talked about that, Matt. It was Barrett Jackson. From what I saw, the floor gave way. I don't know. They have tents set up. Glenn's here with us on Facebook tonight. Glenn's on Facebook instead of YouTube. So that it was at Barrett, and that's what I heard is they set the lift up, and I don't know if somebody said it was asphalt. I don't know. Those are big tents, so I don't know what kind of flooring they have under them. But I mean, I could absolutely see asphalt giving away, under the right conditions if it wasn't prepared right and packed right, where it was a good solid base for a lift. So, but that's what I heard. Jeff from Ottawa's here. There's Glenn. Glenn's over on YouTube now. But anyway, I did watch quite a bit of Meum. I set a TV up with my laptop out in the shop, so I've basically had it on for the last week and a half while I've been in the shop. Like I said, I didn't talk to Jim today. I texted him, didn't hear from him, but I bet he is just beat. He's been there for almost, I don't know if he was there the first day, but he was there by the second day. So he's been there for like 12 or 13 solid days, and he flies to Barrett tomorrow. He did call Tuesday night. So I did talk to him for a little while Tuesday evening, had a good chat with him. At that point, the only thing he had bought was a 65 Chevelle, but it was in that really cool purple color. Pontiac called it Iris Mist. I can't remember what Chevy called it. If Scott's still with us, he'll remember it, but I can't remember what Chevy called it. But he bought a 65 Chevelle in kind of that metallic silver purple color. I agree with you, Scott. If you think it's too cold in Texas, it's way too cold in Kansas. I know that. I think that it looks like Meum had a really solid sale. That's what I was wondering, Randy, if you still had 6-volt on that 53 Dodge pickup. But I think it was this morning or yesterday morning. Maybe it was yesterday because it started over on me. And I saw at the beginning, and they said they had like a 79% sell-through I don't know if I think they mentioned that yesterday. So like Friday had 79% sell through. I think they did, I think they had an amazing sale. And you're right, old school 80s and 90s cars definitely starting to tick up. We talk about that on here. There's a major shift coming in the collector car world, Uds and Badge. And it's 80s and 90s cars. That's right, Glenn. I think half the Demons Dodge built were in Florida this week. I can't believe how many Demons they ran. That big Demon collection with all the low mileage cars of under 50 miles, Jim actually helped put that collection together. But yeah, there were like I said, I think they built 3,000 each year in 18 and 23. And I think half of them were in South Florida over the last 15 days. Cannot believe how many Demons were there. It looks, I think they are starting to soften just a hair. Those cars 2-3 years ago were 140, 150 for the 18s. Those new 18s were hammering 110 to 125. Of course, you still got 10% on top of that, but definitely seeing the shift as those cars get a few years on them, and the kind of the hype has fallen back on them a little bit, but still tons and tons of Demons there. It's cool to see them all go across the block. But if you guys weren't aware, you can go to Meum.com. If you put in your email address, it does not give you the hammer prices without logging in, which is very simple. Just your email address. They just want your email address. That's what they want. They want you on their mailing list. And you can go back and browse all of the results from Meum, Kissimmee, Florida. And like I said, to me, it looked like it was a heck of a strong sale. There were some big, big numbers being thrown around. A lot of six-figure cars, a lot of cars getting into the seven figures. However, I didn't see a lot of the seven-figure cars selling. There were some 300 SLs that didn't sell, just like Glenn mentions, a couple of L88 Corvettes that didn't sell. And like I said, in Seinfeld's Porsche, the Steve McQueen Le Mans car closed it at $25 million. But that's where they've been, Glenn. That's the 67 L80s have been around 2 million. So Brett actually home this weekend. I did get your text, Brett. I'm sure I got stuff on that bolt pattern. Don't know what backspacing you need, what width you need, things like that type of stuff when you get into those wheels. So I forgot to text you back today. The new Ford GTs, the couple that I saw were 800,000-900,000, which is kind of where those cars have been. So I don't know that they were that far under book on, I think there were a couple in Gulf livery that were more than that, but your regular, new Ford GTs, the 17 or like the 2018s, the few I saw were 800 or 900, and that's where I've been seeing those cars. So Pappy's here. I don't know what, I doubt Jay Leno will ever start selling his cars until he absolutely has to. So yeah, Scott, and I did catch the very end of that 66 GT 350. That is absolutely one that I want to ask Wix about and find out what the deal was on that. 71 Blazer didn't sell at 170,000. It just depends on what they wanted for it. So, 91 CRX at 71.5. There again, 80s and 90s cars coming up quickly. Yeah, there was a new Chevette that brought 30 grand. I did see that, Ronnie. Big Red ads are insane tonight. I've got it set at like normal moderate, which is where I always set it, because you can pick what you put. I just click moderate on ads. So that's what I've been doing the last several weeks. So Bill Disc made it. Bennett Carlisle. But you've got the only new Chevette left in the world. So I guess there's that, right? Hey. So I'm sure I'll catch up with Jim Wicks this week. Well, maybe, because he leaves Kissimmee tomorrow and flies straight from Orlando to Scottsdale. So I saw a few Grand Nationals. So I'll try to catch up with Jim before next week. But like I said, he's straight to Barrett Jackson and has started all over again after the last 12 or 14 days of being in Kissimmee. But like I mentioned, go ahead and log in with your email address on Meum.com. You can check out the results and go back and look and see if some of that stuff sold after the fact. They do update that if they do get a deal put together on Bid Goes On. So it will show sold if they got a deal put together after the fact. So be kind of interesting to see what happens. Be interesting to see what happens when they release results. I think last year they did like $250 million at Kissimmee. So we'll see if they're kind of in the same boat this year. But sure looked like a pretty strong sale to me from what, just having it on in the background in the shop for the last week and a half. A couple of other things we want to talk about before I even get into what I had going on this week, because my week got a little bit crazy. Something that's coming up here very soon, and I didn't even think about it until I was cranking stuff out tonight, getting ready. Even when I was working on this last night, it didn't actually hit me. The word episode number 246. 4 more episodes and we hit number 250. How crazy is that, guys? 250 times. What do you think about that, Great Kitty? Hey, what do you think about that? I seen you had posted that, Glenn. You should have bought that. You're a great kitty. Yes, you're a great kitty. Meow. Meow. There goes the hearts. Love the hearts. But that's kind of what is kind of crazy to think about. So what should we do for episode number 250? I'd love to hear some of your guys' ideas. Send them to Pete on the email link. I don't know when Jim does do laundry, actually, Bill. I know maybe he can do it when he gets to Scottsdale. Yeah, he's actually pretty close to me, old school. He's just in Wichita. 715 Bullseye here with us tonight. But throw your ideas out there. Email them to Pete. Do we want to do something special or fun or weird for episode number 250? As crazy as that sounds. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But I'm interested in your ideas for episode number 250. Bill stocked up on some more models. Great kitty. What? Okay, one other thing real quick that I wanted to mention. The auction box. I've got a big tub that every week I go through the stuff that sells and the stuff, obviously the stuff that gets paid for right away, I go ahead and get ready to package. But the other stuff goes in a big tub. I clean that tub out, wrapped it up for the end of the year. I actually even issued a few refunds on some stuff that had been in there for a few months that were paid for, but I could never get an address for. So I issued a few refunds on PayPal to a few guys and basically cleaned out the auction box from 2024. So that's kind of where, we're at on that. So if you got a refund on PayPal, if you think you've got something hanging, if you think you didn't get something that maybe I missed, be sure to let me know. All that stuff is in one box as of right now and will be for a couple of weeks. After that, then it'll start getting reintegrated back into the cycle of auctions and raffles and things like that. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that in case you had something hanging, or if you think I missed something or whatever, be sure to get with me because I have cleaned that out, wrapped up, and closed out 2024 on auction stuff, raffle stuff, everything like that, and wrapped up my my end of year on my notes for 2024. Now, My week, like I said, my week got a little bonkers. I've got that in a box for you, Glenn. That's already paid for, and it's in a box for you since we run into each other one way or the other. But yeah, yours is in a separate box already, Glenn, so we're good there. In fact, anybody that has anything that does pick up, their stuff is in a separate box. So this is just stuff that gets shipped. Everything that is pickup that you guys pick up when I see you at an auction or if you get through here, all that stuff is in a completely separate deal. You guys all have your own boxes where I keep track of that stuff at. So we're good there, Glenn. But like I said, my week got a little hectic to say the least. Obviously, we'll get to that here in just a second, old school, actually. In fact, let's just talk about that real quick before we get into my week. Inauguration tomorrow. And I don't really care what side of the fence you're on. It's always a cool deal. And Kevin is supposed to be there tomorrow. Now, obviously, they're moving it inside. But our good friend Kevin Brown is supposed to be going to the inauguration. So keep an eye out on the No Buddies page. He said he tried to throw up a couple of pictures from Washington tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And kind of excited. Like I said, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. That's still a historic moment every time it happens. And for Kevin to get to be there, that's pretty cool. So keep your eyes peeled on the No Buddies Facebook page. If you're not on there, be sure to get on there on Facebook. And Zach or Andy will get you in, answer the questions. They'll get you in. Kevin said he would try to post a few pictures tomorrow. So anyway, I did want to mention that. So thanks for bringing that up, old school. Speaking of the No Buddies page, what's going on over there? Oh, Pete posted up a reel today driving by the yard for the gathering. Glenn posted up that Suburban, yep. Matt posted a really killer picture from the McClellan Motor Company, Oldsmobile, Denby trucks. I don't even know what a Denby truck is, and Hupmobile. That's killer, Matt. That's a great picture. That is awesome. You guys got to check out the Nobody's page. You guys are doing a great job with the participation on there, the posts. It's awesome. Wow, Kyle, that's actually, holy cow. Kyle posted a picture of a car that is now 30 years old. I kind of forgot about these, but I didn't think they were really terrible little cars. So Sam's here with us. 1995 Probe GT. Those were actually, for the time, a pretty sporty little car. Tire Compass, Kyle posted. That's pretty cool. Briggs Garage in the Northeast. Great shot of the garage. And you got a lot of bikes, dude. So anyway, some more finds that you guys have. Lots of Meum posts. You guys are doing a great job on the No Buddies page. It's awesome. I appreciate your guys' participation on there as well. Okay, back to my week. Obviously, we missed Toy Tuesday. I got a little busy, and actually, I ended up having to run to Oklahoma this week. So, and it was just a very quick trip down and back. And, yep, you probably did just see a gray tail, Jeff. Right, Gray Kitty? Yes, they saw you. Yes, they saw you. But what happens when I have to make a trip to Oklahoma? Yes, I did sneak by ACD for a little bit. I got to see our good friends Doug and Adam Prey at Auburn Court Duesenberg. You guys know what that means. More super killer videos coming up from Auburn Court Duesenberg. Just there for a few hours, but had a great time. We did go to lunch. We had an amazing trip to lunch, actually. You guys are going to be super excited to see that. That was actually pretty cool when we went to lunch. So that stuff's going to be coming up. Got to stop by Gasoline Alley in Sapulpa, see our good friend Michael Jones. And we'll see what's going to happen for the gathering. Michael did our oil cans for the gathering last year. The commemorative oil cans that everybody came to the gathering for. So we're talking about that or talking about some other ideas. I don't know. We'll try to do something similar to that. We did get stopped by our good friend Michael. If you didn't see those, these are what we did last year. I don't know if this is what we're going to do this year. But we'll have some sort of a commemorative piece for the all the members who show up at the gathering. Gasoline Alley Classics, our good friend Michael Jones. Be sure to check them out. They got a lot of killer gearhead stuff, shirts, signs, coffee mugs, all kinds of cool stuff like that. A block off of Route 66 in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. So did get to see Michael. Talked about some different ideas for the gathering this year. And got to stop by ACD. So it was kind of crazy, but it was hectic. Down and back, boom, boom, quick trip. But got some videos done at Auburn Court, Duesenberg, so excited about that. Did swing by a couple of antique shops, got a few more pieces that were popping up on some Toy Tuesdays, but it was a quick trip. Then right after we got back from that, had an auction Thursday. It did end up getting a few cool pieces at the auction, a few pieces for me and Addie, and some more cool auction stuff. Got a few pieces of that already in for tonight. So some fresh meat in the auction tonight from the auction I went to last Thursday. So it was a crazy week. And then, of course, now it's super cold and miserable. So I'm not looking forward to that either. But anyway, I got plenty of stuff to sort through in the shop, I guess, so I can get some stuff done in here. April 26th this year, Frank. April 26th is when we're going to do the gathering. Pete and I went through the list today. We're getting close to the good idea, Bert. It's been a few minutes. We're getting close to the halfway point. We're going to cap it at 35 people. I don't know if we'll have that many people that want to come or not, but we are going to cap it at that just to keep it manageable. But we do have about half of that full at this point. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. We'll see what kind of cool ideas we can come up with for this year. What are you going to do this year, Great Kitty? Run and hide like you did last year? Yes, you went and hid last year. Nobody can see you. You didn't know what to do with all those people. You bet, Frank. Email Pete if you would, and get me your $20. The $20 is basically going to my buddy that's going to do lunch for us. So we need to get you registered on there, Frank, to make sure, since we're going to cap it, we want to make sure that we get you registered, get your $20 locked in, so we have have an idea for lunch and everything like that. Yeah, same email, Bad Boy Chevrolet. If you could throw that up there for him, Pete, I would appreciate it, and I know they would. So people are constantly asking about it. Glenn keeps his on his desk. There we go, Pete. Appreciate that. Frank, if you can email Pete and get me your $20 or whenever we get caught up or whatever, so we get you on the list and get your spot reserved. I think it's going to be a great time. So auction off an extra can for the 250th. Out of the cans are kind of just for I don't know how we'll need to do that. I mean, it's kind of a special deal for the guys that can make it. I understand you're way out east, Bill, and it's tough. I just need to move closer to Bert. There you go. So please keep that in mind. April 26th, get on the list. Like I said, I don't know if we'll have 35 people or not, but we just needed to put a parameter out there and make sure we get you registered, make sure we get your payment. So my buddy that did the brisket for us last year, I don't know if he's going to do a brisket or pork or what he'll end up doing this year, but he said he'd whip up something for lunch. That way we know who's locked in. I can give him a definitive count, and we know where we're at. Because last year we had a bunch of people bail within the last week, and it kind of screwed up the logistics and the scheduling on the food and stuff like that. So please keep that in mind, guys. April 26th, the gathering of the Nobodies. It's going to be a great time, and can't wait to see you guys out here again. Along with the ACD videos, I did have some decent weather Friday. Well, really decent, but it was tolerable weather Friday. So I shot several videos of my own as well. So we'll have some of that stuff coming up. Like we mentioned earlier, the 70 Kingswood video did go public last Friday. We are doing, the videos are going to members a week early. Super Nobody and Nobody Premiere get the videos a week early. They go public the following week. I had texted Jim a little earlier, asked if he was wiped out, and he said, exhausted but good results. So we will see what we'll catch up with Jim Wicks and get a little bit more, get some more details, see what he got bought. But good results is a good sign. I am sure he's in Florida, so it's already 9 o'clock there. His flight's not till like noon tomorrow, but that still means even if your flight's at noon, you still got to be up and early and headed to the airport. You probably got to leave for the airport by 9 o'clock in the morning to get there, get unloaded, get checked in by, 10:30 or so. So, and that's after the way this last week's been. So I'm sure he's wiped out, but good results is a good sign for Jim from Kissimmee. Nut Farm like the Kingswood. Yes, Sam, ACD is in Oklahoma. The Auburn Cord Duesenberg Company is in Broken Arrow. So that's where we were at this week for a few hours. We've actually got an entire Auburn Cord Duesenberg playlist on the channel. You can check out all the videos we've done there. Done a lot of videos with those guys. Have a great time, and we learned so much stuff, and there's so much cool stuff there you just don't have the opportunity to experience on a regular basis. The Cord 810 and 812s, L29s, the Auburns, the Duesenberg stuff. Organic Machines back. So a lot of cool stuff, and we got, I think, 5 videos there. A couple of them are just kind of okay. The engine, we did one on their engine overhauls they do, which it's technically interesting, but it's not like wow, but it's pretty cool. Did one cord that they're working on that main reason we touched on it is that the car's never been restored. It's in pieces, but a lot of what we saw on it are completely original. So that was kind of cool. Local airports. Good idea, Pete. Hayes and Salina both offer regional service. I think Bill did you come into Hayes last year, Bill? Wichita is the closest large airport. It's 100 miles away. I bet that would be too cold to type in the garage, number one. Okay, yeah, Bill did go into Hayes. So any of you guys that are looking at flying in, and I don't know what you found this year, Bill, if Hayes is going to work for you. Okay, more than likely Salina this year is where Bill's going into. Or like I said, Wichita is the largest airport. If you are flying, you might want to let them know so that if you want Pete to get that on the email, if any of you guys want to try to coordinate, if you're coming into Salina, Glenn might be able to help us out there. I don't know. Perry from Connecticut. Love the cab over video, which I'm not sure depends on which one that was, Perry. I haven't put a cab over video up in a while, but I've got several on the channel, but they're always cool. So, yeah, Glenn could help us out if you're coming into Salina. So keep that in mind, guys. And you might let Pete know on the email string if you're flying in. Maybe you can help coordinate with some of you guys on getting out here. So, but Gathering the Nobody's coming up April 26th. We've got a few months, but it's going to sneak up on us. So we're going to try to be prepared for it. Email Pete, get on the list, get your $20 in so that we've got you locked in and have your spot reserved just in case we do get close to selling out, since we are about to the halfway point in registrations at this point. So anyway, that'd be awesome, Glenn. So moving on, obviously with new inventory, I didn't pick up any cars this week, but I did bring back a few cool pieces from Auburn Cord Duesenberg we'll be checking out. And I did get some cool stuff at the auction that's going to be Toy Tuesday type stuff. And I found, Addie and I were working in the shop yesterday. I found one of the most amazing badges that I owned. Didn't even know it. This thing is so cool. The trucks that these came on will blow your mind. It will blow your mind when you see what this thing is. Didn't even realize it. Hayes, Brett says Hayes goes just Hayes to Denver. So if you're coming in from the west, Hayes might be an option coming through Denver. So this thing is so cool. This thing is so insanely rare. I've seen pictures of these trucks. I don't know if one of them even still exists anymore, but they're some of the wildest cab overs that were ever built. They were a conversion deal. Super cool. I'm super excited about it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this badge yet. I may actually build an episode around the badge. I think Hemmings did an article on these trucks. I may try to find that article and see if it was Hemmings or who it was and try to get something that, we can get work around this badge because it's insanely rare. So Anyway, say hello. Some of the Big Jobs friends are saying hello on Facebook tonight. So, the hotel that Kyle bought, I don't even remember. I screenshotted it. They were 30s, 40s era cab overs, Joe, is when they did these conversions. I'll have to get the name that Kyle's got on that one for you, Kevin. I didn't do it because nobody had responded about wanting to do anything on a hotel. So I hadn't pursued that any further, Kevin, but I can get that. So yeah, I'll try to get that. So anyway, it's pretty decent. Number one, my aunt stayed there when she was there for Christmas, so she said it was pretty decent. So I don't think it was a no-tell one, but so anyway. Oh, plus a few toys that I picked up on the Oklahoma run. So, yep, I know for some of you it just doesn't work, Matt. But unfortunately, we're where we're at. There's nothing I can't move the whole 2,000 cars, so we just got to kind of work with it. I understand it. It just doesn't work for some people, but I didn't figure it would work for anybody. But 25 or so of you showed up last year, which was awesome. So we'll see what happens this year. But looking forward to it, and we're filling up. You guys are signing up, sending your $20 in, so we got you locked in, and it's starting to come together. So we'll see what happens. Let's have an Auburn badge, though. Hey, Gray Kitty. What? Are you going to make an appearance this year? Last year you ran and hid because you were freaked out by everybody. You think you're going to make an appearance? Hey, I'm talking to you. You going to make an appearance this year? You think you might? Can you work it into your schedule? Or are you going to freak out when everybody gets here? You don't know. The only no-tell motel was the Travel Lodge. Valve cover races at the bar. That might be an idea. I don't know if they have room to really set anything up, but it'd be cool. All right, we'll see what Gray Kitty's temperature is when it gets to April 26th. We'll see if she's going to freak out again this year when everybody gets to the shop. Hudson badge. But since we've talked about the new inventory, which wasn't cars, just some parts and toys, that brings us to the promo model. And we've got an epic promo model tonight. Definitely excited about this promo model. I think you guys are going to dig it. It is not one, that you see very often. As you guys know, I think it was in August. Yeah, it was in August because it was right before I closed on that other shop. That's why I didn't buy as many promos as I wanted. I was getting ready to close on that other building. But, man, we still got a killer batch of promos. Dad and I went. They sold 84 promos, all Chevrolets from the people who used to own the Chevy dealer in this little small town in north central Kansas. We ended up with 49 of the 84. Tractor Mike got one, so 50 of the 84 came with us. And tonight we have one that is super killer. I don't know that I've ever seen this promo. Bill will definitely probably have a little more insight on it for us. But it is, I think it's rare. I don't think you see him very often. It's a great color. It's a great year. I've done a video on the Indy pace car. Which one, Scott? There's a few pace cars in the yard. There's a pace car in the shop next door. Which one are we talking about? But this promo model, I am excited about it. I didn't grab it on the first round, but I grabbed it fairly quickly, second or third choice. Great color, not one you see very often at all. Great Kitty, what are you doing? Wait to see if Scott text messages back on the pace car real quick before we get into this promo, because I'm super excited about this promo. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get into it. In what I think was one of the best colors Chevrolet had in 1969, my favorite Le Mans blue, we've got the 1969 Chevy Chevelle SS 396 promo model. This thing is a knockout. There goes the hearts. I take it that's good. SS hood, SS wheels, Le Mans blue, bucket seats, console. The Mercury pace car video I have not done yet, Scott. No. Outstanding condition. It's not chipped. It's not broken. SS 396 on the grill. SS 396. I don't know if you can make them out. Right here on the fender, the SS 396 badges are actually cast into this. Oh, yeah. Lots of you guys are digging this one. 1969 on the back bumper. Also, I don't know if you guys can make it out or not. It does have the SS badge in the center back there. The taillights do not have the bar across them. They're just basically a red lens, where the actual production car actually had a bar across it and broke the taillight up. Now, these were actually painted to match the metallic Le Mans blue. The bottom side of this car, this was actually cast in a slightly lighter blue. The interior and the bottom of the car were not painted. Just the body was. Does have rally wheels on it, white wall tires all the way around. Pretty amazing promo. Dennis had one just like it in high school. Yeah, it's great. So definitely one of the more exciting ones I got. And we got some good stuff, guys. We haven't even gotten to the really good stuff, and I think this is pretty good stuff. The Le Mans Blue 1969 Chevelle SS 396 factory dealer Chevy promo model. Hearts are still going. That's a good sign. There you go, Bill. You got an extra week of vacation. Grab that 98 and get it ready to head back east with you. So, hearts are still going. Glad you guys like it. There's more exciting promos out of this batch. Like I said, guys, this stuff was killer. I didn't get everything I wanted, but we got a lot of what we wanted. And just amazing piece. Hearts are still going. Glad you guys are liking it and having fun. Glenn, a friend had one. They totaled out. Left his front teeth in the steering wheel. The Buick video, Justin, will probably go up to members probably for next Friday night. And which means it will go public in 2 weeks. So I'll try to get that one up next Friday night, maybe. Throwing Sparks neighbor had a Hugger orange one with but great promo. Bill has this one in the box. Bought it for $35 in 1990. So, like I said, good promos and more good promos coming up. Corvair promos. Yes, we've got a couple Corvair promos coming up. Truck promos, Joe. Yeah, we've showed one of them several weeks ago. I've got one more pickup promo that we will get squeezed in coming up as well. So, yeah, we pretty much run the gamut on Chevy promos. Impalas, Caprices, Chevelles, Monte Carlos, El Caminos, Novas, Corvairs, Corvettes, and I'm not talking about the new 80s and 90s Corvettes. So we got some good Corvettes coming up. A lot of neat stuff. Just a little bit of about everything. Even a few Monzas. Vegas, got Monzas and Vegas, actually. Man, there's just pretty much covered a little bit of everything. Got some Camaros. Like I said, there's a few of everything. In fact, some of them are still sitting here from the last few weeks. 56. There's a Vega. These are ones we've done over the last few weeks. I just haven't put them back away yet. Monte Carlo. Yeah, we got some great Corvettes coming up, Joe. Great Corvettes. 60 wagon. This is just the ones we've done over the last month. No, there were no Suburban or Blazer promos. That's some stuff that they did not have. So these are just what's laying here from the last few weeks that we've done. Need to get those put back away. But, man, there's a lot of great stuff coming up. Steve's here. I know they made some newer Suburban promos like in the 90s, I think. I do not know if they made any like square body ones or earlier ones. That I'm not sure. Bill may be able to answer that for us. The Bills are ahead. Okay. I haven't been paying much attention to that. I caught part of the Chiefs game yesterday, but that was it. Hudson Badge. Still looking for a 65 Impala SS promo. We already did that one, actually. We did get one. We squeezed that in several weeks ago, but yep, we did get one. They made a 95 Blazer. Yeah, that's what I thought. I remembered some in that era. Just passed on a 65 Impala this weekend for 400. Well, I know we got into ours a lot. Dad got into that one a lot less than 400, so that's good. But yep, there was one in there. It's over next door in the other shop right now. No, I still do not have a Neon Coupe a race livery promo. I still haven't bought one of those. But like I said, we got 49 of them. We've been working on them for September, October, November, December, about 4 or 5 months. So we've done probably almost half of them. So we've been working for 4 or 5 months. We've gotten about half of them knocked out. So we've still got a lot more great stuff coming up. And some of this stuff is and condition is all like this. A little bit of warpage on some of the earlier ones, but not terrible. But, man, there's some great stuff coming up. Let's catch a badge. Let's talk about a cap. Let's do story time. Let's see who's in the raffle. Then, like I said earlier, we got some cool stuff for the auction pile tonight. You in the auction pile, Gray Kitty? Gray Kitty. Auburn badge. Let's check out a badge. Where's the badge at? Gray Kitty, I think you're sitting on the badge. Hey, you're sitting on the badge. They want to see the emblem. You're sitting on it. You got to move to get off the badge. Now, you can sit back down. Yes, there, you can sit. I had to get the badge. They want to see the badge. Fine, get mad and get down. Okay. Show all the promos for the 250th. We could do a recap on what we've done. I'm working through them, but we can recap the promos that we've been working on for the 250th for sure. If you guys want to do that, if you guys have missed some of them, we can actually do it. We can definitely do a promo recap on the ones that we have showed to for the 250th, because that would be getting kind of to a halfway point. So, I mean, that would be kind of a recap of this batch of Chevy promos that Dad and I bought. that Joe suggested. What do you guys think of that? Do a recap on the promos as part of the 250th promo show? You guys tell me. We see what you think. But I think that's a good idea, Joe, because I'm sure some of you guys have missed some of these, and it's such amazing stuff that that might be a good plan. So we'll see what everybody thinks. But going into tonight's emblem, as we've been talking about, we're doing an emblem and a cap now every week. Joe, they love your idea. I mean, like, really, like, there's like 8 comments like that about that's a great idea. So we can work that in as part of the 250th. Recap the Chevy promos out of that collection that we've done for you guys that have missed some of them. Okay. They're still agreeing with you, Joe. So we can line them all up, start checking them out again. But tonight's first emblem is I think it's off of a heater. Whoa, man, Facebook is looking weird. My head's like on Facebook. Don't know anything about that one, number one. But tonight's emblem, I believe this was off of an underdash heater, late 30s era. Thought it was a pretty cool piece. From our friends at Pontiac. And like I said, I think this was an underdash heater emblem. Now, if you guys see underdash heaters from the 30s and 40s, especially the 30s, a lot of times they had specific emblems on them for that card, denoting what it was. Chevys had Chevy emblems. Buicks had Buick emblems. Internationals even said, you would say IHC on them. Dodge would say Dodge on them, or Dodge trucks. Okay. Matt still likes the promo idea. Yes, the square bodies were never made. The newer Blazer promos and kits in the 90s, only between watching Meum for 2 weeks. Okay. So they didn't make a lot of square body promos. But back to tonight's emblem. I believe this is off an underdash heater, late 30s era, from our friends at Pontiac. Pontiac Master. This is a fairly small stainless emblem. The Pontiac and the Master's all embossed in it, and it's got this killer Indian head made into it. We see the headdress up here. We see the outline of the face. There goes the hearts, which is great. It's a smaller piece, just over 5 inches. About 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 inches. So it's only 5 1/4 long, 1 3/4 inches tall. It just has these small little tabs on the back that folded over, which would have been fine for like a thin sheet metal heater case. That's why I think this was an underdash heater emblem for a Pontiac accessory master heater in the late 30s. Yeah, I'll find one of these days, Bill. I think they're kind of cool. These lines are all stamped into it. The paint is obviously added in. But really, and you think about it, this was just on the underdash heater box. And look at the detail and the color in this thing just to go on the heater under the dash. Pretty unique piece. I thought it was great. I got it this way. I didn't take it off a heater. I just got it in a box of loose parts. I was like, man, that is so cool. Figured you guys would appreciate it. Glad you did. Had a lot of hearts popping up, so I thought it was cool. Pete digs it. Kenny never seen it. I don't think I've seen it. But like I said, a lot of these underdash heaters in that era had some pretty cool emblems on it. So I think it was like a master heater, kind of a deluxe type option, I think is what it meant, number one, is what my guess would be. But it's a great looking piece nonetheless. So let's move on to a cap. Bill loves it. Brett says Chevy's bringing back some limited edition square bodies in 25-26. I've not seen that. Anybody else know anything about that? As we reach for tonight's cap. Now this cap, we've done some caps very similar to this. Same outline, same size, same configuration, same design. However, this one's a little bit different. We've done a lot of caps from Nash. We've seen some very unique Nash caps. This one's a little bit different. I believe in fact, I don't even know, we may have even sold one of these. I'm not sure. I'm sure we've had one on here in this style for Nash with this design on it. However, this one is kind of Nash, but not really Nash, because this one is for the Nash Lafayette. Now, like I said, I don't remember if we've just looked at one like this or if we've actually even sold one, but we've done them before in this style. They just say Nash across them. This one, Lafayette. This is all stamped in here. This cap here is original paint, original black lines, original red lettering. Pretty cool. This was just a chrome cap on a metal base, but I thought it was a great piece and definitely something unique. This is 1937, 1938 era Nash Lafayette cap. And more hearts. Awesome. That means we're getting some cool stuff out of you guys who are digging it and throwing up hearts. So basically the same thing, only instead of saying Nash, this one says Lafayette, but I know we've done one at some point. But I thought this was pretty cool and pretty unique. Definitely worth mentioning and definitely worthy of tonight's cap of the week. Story time. Who's ready for some quick story time? Then we're going to talk about the raffle. Then we're going to get into the auction. Quick shout out to Kenny's new friend Patricia, who is watching for the first time. So let's welcome Patricia for hanging out with us tonight. Let's give her a Hudson badge. How about that, Kenny? In honor of Kenny's new friend hanging out with us tonight. All right, time for story time. Got the scrapbook out and ready to go. For you guys who aren't familiar with this, we're going through old cars that Dad did 40 and 50 years ago. Quick flips, going through his records. He saved all the receipts, all the notes, all the records. Having a ton of fun with it. I'm getting a ton of great feedback on this segment, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Sounds good, Kenny. Glad that works for you too. Tonight, we're going way back. Way back. We're going way back to October 13th, 1975. Almost 50 years ago. I was almost 1. Dad bought this car 3 days before I turned 1. Which is really crazy to think about. What's even crazier to think about is he sold it. I just noticed this that I didn't even see. Last Monday, he sold it 49 years ago last Monday. Kind of crazy. Tell me about it, Kenny. But tonight's Storytime featured car is a 1967 Buick Electra sedan. Burgundy with a white top. I hope you guys can make it out with the reflection of the plastic in the old scrapbook. But a good looking old deuce and a quarter. More hearts for story time. That's great. Appreciate it. So let's learn a little bit more about this 1967 Buick Electra that Dad bought on October 13th, 1975 for a total price of $98.20. There's the ticket from October 13th of 75, purchase price of $98.20. So let's find out what he did to it. This is so early, we do not have the itemized list. Some of these we've done, we've got a whole itemized list. This is before they even started tracking all that. So I've just got tickets to work with. Let's see. At 124,000 miles on it. That's right, Joe. They were smooth riding cars. Deuce and a Quarters were, they were a heck of a car for the day. Dad remembers that car really well, actually. He said it was a great car. Let's see. What parts did he buy for it? Looks like Dad do some brake work, had wheel cylinder kits, timing gear and chain, and brake shoes, which timing gear and chain was pretty common back then at 100,000 miles. So did put timing gear and chain on it, did brakes on it. Set of brake shoes. The day after he bought it, actually, October 14th, Mike had a 67 Wildcat. Those were great cars, too. Set of brake shoes, $6.71, less the core charge. Who remembers when brake shoes had core charges? $2.40 brake charge, net price of $4.31 for a set of brake shoes. And apparently it was wrecked in one side because we have a ticket for a used fuel gauge and a ticket for a fender that were actually dated on my first birthday, believe it or not. October 16th, 1975. From 281 Auto Salvage, which is actually right up the road from me, still there. Still talk to Mike almost every day. Quart of paint. The paint prices, I know, always blows your guys' minds. It blows mine too. And of course, this car was burgundy, so it was a red-based paint. 1 quart of Ditzler was $6.65. So imagine buying anything that is red in a quart for $6 today. You can't even hardly write red on the label for $6 today. And then he puts the ad in the paper on January the 2nd of 1976. 1967, Electra 225, excellent condition, safety inspected. 9 words, run it 3 times, $2.60 to put the ad in the newspaper. So it looks like they put a fender on it, timing gear and chain, and brakes. So some body work, some mechanical work, and sold it January 13th. So basically October, November, December, and January. Had it 4 months, put a fender on it, timing gear, chain, brakes, cleaned it up, serviced it, got it safety inspected, ready to go. Sold it for $750. So pretty good deal for, a couple months worth of work. So that's the interesting topic for story time tonight. The 1967 Buick Electra 225. Burgundy with a white top, 4-door hardtop, big old cruiser. Yeah, that's right, Briggs. That was good profit for some weekends and evenings. Another good one, says the Nut Farm. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying these, Auburn Badge. It's a lot of fun for me. Some of these cars I remember, some of them I don't. Dad remembers them all, obviously. Some better than others. But super excited that you guys are having so much fun with this. I get more comments on this segment probably than anything else. So glad you guys are enjoying it as well. And it's definitely fun for me and Dad to go back and look through some of this stuff, almost 50 years later. All right, let's grab the raffle can. Let's see who got into the big Buick oil can this week. Mike loves it too. Glad like I said, I get a ton of comments on it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Joe loves it. Everybody loves the deuce and the quarters, I guess. Who's in, says Kenny? Let's find out. This week, Adam Briggs, Tim Brerin, Matt Williams, Austin McCoy, and Alec Blanchett. The Bills won, so is that who Kansas City plays then next week, Brett? I think. I'm not sure. I don't keep up with that stuff. So I guess that means Kansas City plays the Bills next week for the AFC Championship. Is that correct? So remember, guys, those names are in the big Buick oil can for box number 1, 2, or 3. Like we mentioned, there are license plates, grease caps, toy truck. I don't even remember what I put all. I don't remember what I even put in all of them. But I know that there are, and there's a mixture. One's got more license plates than the other two. One of them, I think, has an extra grease cap or two than the other two. One of them's just kind of even across the board. Get Dad on sometime? Yeah, we probably can. He did some of the video on his 58 Super, Scott. He was on that video for a little bit, talking a little bit about the history of that particular car. But sometime we'll have to try to get him on. Yeah, Jesse said Bills and Chiefs next week. Okay. Like I said, I pay about this much attention to it. So I like listen. I listen to the Chiefs because it's on every week and has been for years. I always work Sundays. The radio's on in the shop. So I always listen to the Chiefs. That's what's on around here. Hudson Badge. So anyway, next week, the first name is going to get to choose which box they want. The second name will get a choice out of the last two. The third name will get the last box that's left out of the mystery boxes. Kenny, don't remember? Like I said, I filled them. It's been 3 weeks ago now that I filled them. So, just whatever you want, Matt. PayPal them, add them to your auction purchase, whatever you want to do. And $1 a shot every $5 you're in 5 times, $10 you're in 10 times, whatever you want to do. So, yep, we'll give that stuff away next week. And with that, I guess we're ready for some auctions. We ready for auctions, guys? You guys are always ready for auctions. Some new stuff tonight and some old stuff tonight. We've always got license plates and things like that, but I got a few pieces I picked up this week. And plus, we're digging through the shop, so I'm finding other cool stuff. So we got some fun stuff in the auctions tonight. Get my notepad ready, as always. Mary's ready. We'll hold up a piece. We'll talk about that piece. We'll point out any defects in the piece. We'll talk about the car a little bit. We'll give you some dimensions on it if you're not sure how big it is. As we're checking it out. But if you're interested in it, go ahead and throw a bid in out there so I know that we've got some people interested in that particular piece. Last week we made a change and it worked very well. We are now going 90 seconds instead of 2 minutes. Reason being, I thought we would try it because we'd get a few bids right out of the gate, and then everybody sat there till the last 30 to 40 seconds. So now we're going 90 seconds. I'll tell you when I kick it off. I'll tell you when we hit 30 seconds. I'll tell you when we've hit 60 seconds. When I tell you we've hit 60 seconds, it's time to throw your maximum bid out there. We've had people have had delays up to 20 seconds, but not really much more than that. So I think the 90 seconds is still going to work. It worked great last week. A lot of positive feedback about going to 90 seconds on the auction. Tonight, it is all smaller stuff. Again, nothing bigger than a few caps or plates. So shipping will be included in everything tonight. I got one bigger cap. If we squeeze one of those bigger caps, we may have $10 shipping on it. But for the most part, it's all going to be shipping will be included in the final bid price. In the 48 states. If you're not in the 48 states, then obviously you will be responsible for shipping out of the country. This thing kind of feeds itself. So if we spend a small fortune shipping 2 or 3 packages to Europe or somewhere, then it kind of torpedoes the budget of replenishing the auction stuff for everybody else to play along. So shipping will be included in the 48 states on pretty much everything tonight. We'll mention it if not. And we'll get ready to roll. Let me gather some stuff up here. And we'll start off with a few smaller dollar pieces, especially getting used to the 90-second deal. And then we will get rocking and rolling. And we'll see what happens tonight. We'll have some fun with it and see where it goes and see what we want to do. So get your quick loader ready. That's right, Nut Farm. Let me gather some of this stuff up, get it moved over here towards the desk so we can get rolling. All right. That's right, Kenny. No rubles or pesos. Whole dollar amounts only. Okay. What do we start with tonight, guys? I tell you what, something we haven't done in a little while. Smaller piece to get started out with anyway. It's perfect. But I've been sorting through the shop. We haven't done any of these in a while. I got a whole bunch of really cool ones we're going to work into tonight. Matchbooks, yes. What do we have in this pile? Minneapolis Moline, a complete line of farm tractors and equipment. Oh, this is hilarious. I threw this one in there even though it's not car related because it's Colonel Sanders. Trop Arctic 66. This is these are funny. The American Legion ones. We had some of these before when we did some of these matchbooks. The American Legion with the bikini girls on them. Co-op. Standard service. And Phillips 66 with tires. For longer mileage, low profile, and premium action tread, Phillips 66 tires. So this is 7 of them. Mostly service station, 1 tractor, and the Colonel. So where's our matchbook guys at out there? Or do we save them for later? We'll give it a few more seconds. If nobody jumps on these, then we'll just go ahead and move on to the next stuff. Matt's going to start us at 5. Okay, we'll go ahead and sell them. Yeah, we should have had him last week when Mark was back with us. Matt's going to take them for 5. We'll go ahead and start it. We'll run it on the timer. $5, you're getting all of them. All the service station matchbooks. Mary, 7. $45 seconds have passed. I missed the 30-second mark. I was grabbing the next pieces. But we're halfway there. One minute gone. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left. Just about ready to wrap it up. Mary at 7. And that does it. Mary at 7. Let's do a couple of toys. These are probably 40s. This first truck. Lapin product, Lapin, something like that. Made in USA. On this green Chevy style cab over. Steak truck. And this red Packard style coupe. This thing is great. Check out the body lines on this thing. The wheels are still there, original. Packard is super cool. So the green truck and the red car. The Packard is a Premier. I think that's what it says. Premier, made in USA. Pete, 5. Let's go ahead and get these things boogieing. Balin wire, 15. Just past the 30-second mark again. I missed it again. I got to get used to that. There's Tractor Mike. One minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Balin wire at 15. And that does it. Balin wire 15. Add those to his stack. Way Camp. That's right. I should have bought the co-op matches for Tractor Mike. How about a Hudson badge? Okay, let's do a can. This can looks great from one side, but not so great from the other. So when it's up on the shelf, it looks pretty good. So it's not a super high dollar can, but it is a metal one, and it is cool. Just don't look at the other side. All metal, Pennzoil, 1 quart. Like I said, the front side looks great. Just the rest of it, not so much. Paint has a nice shine. The Liberty Bell has good color, nice bright red. The top was punched out, but the back side is rough, and the bottom is rusted out. So when it's up on the shelf, it looks great here. But there again, it's an all-metal can, so it's an earlier can, and still displays well. The Tough Film Motor Oil, 100% pure Pennsylvania Pennzoil. So standard size, 1 quart. Just don't look at the backside. Just put the backside to the wall. Everything's golden. So what do you guys think? Anybody on the Pennzoil can? I think there's differences in the bell. Based on the, it's being all metal, I'm sure it's early 60s or earlier, but I'm thinking it's probably 50s. Just based on the style on this stuff here, but I'm not sure. Like I said, it's a good starter type can, but if we don't have anything on it, we'll throw it back in and mix it with some other stuff. So nothing happening on it yet. We can put it away and mix it with some other cans later if nobody's on the Pennzoil. I just thought since one side looks good, it would be a good starter level can. All right, we'll pass on the Pennzoil. Get into some license plates and some caps. Let's do a set of plates. For our friends to the south of us. Oklahoma commercial trucks. We've got 3 of them in this bundle. 1960 with some paint loss. This paint is chipping over here on this side, on this 1960 commercial truck. White background, black markings, numbers, and letters. $1961, black background, white letters. Bread at 10. And in 1962, back to white with black letters. So we're going to sell the set. Since they are 60, 61, and 62, we're going to run them all together. Paint loss on the 60, though. So please keep that in mind. We're just going to do all of them, one batch, all of them, one-shot deal. So they all stay together, 60, 61, and 62. Bread 10, here we go. Let's roll. It's a plate bundle. That's right, Kenny. For our friends from Oklahoma. Martin, 12. $30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. One minute gone. 30 seconds left. Martin at 12. All 3 of them. Heck of a deal. Matt, 15. Briggs, 15. A few seconds left. Add Matt first. We'll see what happens. See if anybody gets another shot in there with a few seconds left to go. Matt at 15. Briggs came back, but it was just a second too late. Matt at 15. Got a bow tie piece coming up here in just a little bit. In fact, there's a cool bow tie piece in this next batch. One thing I did get at the auction this week was a whole box of pens and pencils, and they're all car related. So I'm keeping some of them. We're going to sell some of them. There's 6 of them in this batch. We're going to go through all of them, but you're going to get all 6 of these. Starting off with Phillips 66 Downs Oil. Champlin, O.R. Scott, Ness City, Kansas. Allen, 15. Standard. DX, Nashville Oil Company, Nashville, Kansas. Sovereign Service, Piper Oil, Hayes, Kansas. This is one that actually had a little bit of oil in it. And the last one, and this is a great one, Hubble Chevrolet Company. So, all of them. Phillips, Standard, Champlin, Sovereign, DX, and a Chevrolet. 6 of them on a bundle deal. Alan's starting us off at 15, and here we go. And there's 30 seconds. 30 seconds gone. Allen at 15. And there's the 1 minute mark. 30 seconds left to go. Allen at 15, still the high bidder. Austin at 20. Few seconds left. Austin at 20. And that does it. Austin at 20 on the whole handful. So we'll have a few more handfuls of those coming up over the coming weeks, but they're all different. I don't think there were any duplicates in that whole box. So there's lots more cool service and dealership pins coming. Up next tonight, something for our Chevy fans. A throwing star. 3-bar bow tie spinner. Look at the chrome on this thing. It's like a mirror. You can see the webcams right there in the middle of it. It's off of like a wire cap. Or I think they use these spinners on some regular caps. This thing looks great. No chips, no breaks, few pits and scratches. Chrome has a great shine. Still has original black paint in the ring and around the bow tie. There goes the hearts. That's great. There's Tony. Brett, 10. Mary, 15. Bert at 10. I got Mary at 15. This is about 6.5 inches from the bar to the bar. And the center of the diameter is 3 1/4. 3 1/4 across here. So anyway, sharp piece. Nice piece to add to the wall of a bow tie fan. Bids are at, high bidder is Bert at 19. And let's get this thing on the timer. Bert's at 19 is the high bidder as we hit the timer. And there's the 30-second mark. Bert at 19. Sounds like fun, Tony. Mary, 25. And there's the 1 minute mark. 30 seconds left to go. Mary at 25. About ready to wind this one down. Mary at 25. And that does it. Pete came in at 29, just a hair too late. 131. Mary came back at 30, so she must have saw it. But I got it at 131. Mary at 25. Okay, let's squeeze in another plate. Go back a few years on this one and go north to our friends from Minnesota, which I can't believe that any license plate survived from Minnesota, much less 90 plus years survived from Minnesota, because everything out there rusts away. But even the back of this thing looks great. That's original paint on the back of this 1932 Minnesota plate. Kind of a dark burgundy with yellow letters. It's kind of a different size. It is cracked out right here on this side, but still displays very well. 14.5 by 4.5. So kind of like our long, narrow Kansas ones of a similar era on this 1932 Minnesota plate. It's not bent up, twisted up. Just got the crack up here is the only really physical damage I see in it. And obviously we'll take a little bit better look at the backside. You can get a good look at that, all original paint on the back of this one. So sharp plate, Brett 20, Briggs 10, Brett's at 20. Let's kick this thing off on the timer on the 32 Minnesota plate. 30 seconds gone. 1 minute left. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Brett at 20. Just about ready to wind this one down. Brett at 20. Tony 34, and that does it. There they come. Tony's 34 made it. Matt and Austin, they were late, but Tony would have had them covered anyway. Tony at 34. But those were really tight. But, man, Tony barely slid that one in there at 34. I was watching that one pretty close because I kind of expected that might happen. Boy, it sure did. All right, let's get some caps, some emblems. Got a horn button. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Let's do another cap. Caps are always fun. We always have a lot of fun with caps. You guys dig them. This one for some of our Pontiac friends. I think we did one of these a while back. I came up with another one. Late 40s era with the Indian Chief in it. This one, a side profile instead of a front profile like we looked at on our heater badge. This one has a side profile of the Chief this time. This is actually all stamped into the cap. We can see some red that was still left there that's faded out. Overall, this looks pretty darn decent. It's got a few dings, dents, and scratches, but a good-looking cap. Metal base, chrome cap on top of it with the Chief Pontiac stamped into it. Bert's at 18. This outside edge is all stamped in it as well. Let's give you a dimension on this, and then we'll get rolling on the timer. Bert starting us off at 18. It's a great-looking cap. 10 inches across on Chief Pontiac, late 40s era. Good-looking piece, great wall hanger, and here we go. "30 seconds gone. Yeah, that's right. You can see probably. This thing is like a mirror. Look at the Pontiac. Headdress. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left. Bert at 18. About ready to wrap this one up. Anybody else out there on the Pontiac? Tim B, 25. And that does it. Tim B at 25. Good looking piece. Andy the Rusty Okie made it. Tony had a 32 in there too late. That's one thing about it, guys. We're going to have to shoot a little earlier since we're shorter on time. But let's do some plates, a few more caps. That's right, Tim. Just send it to PayPal. Just make sure your shipping info's on there so when I print the receipt, I've got it all there and ready to go. Okay, we're going to do a batch of Kansas plates. And they're kind of cool, and I think they're new. These don't have a year on them, but they're marked 1974. But you're going to get Z78, Z79, and Z80. And in fact, you're going to get two Z80s. I don't know why there are two Z80s, but there are. I think they're all new. They all look new. But I thought it was kind of funny. I was going through a box, and I was like, well, there's 79. Well, there's 78. There's 80. I was like, well, they're all here in a row. So we'll just keep them together. It's a forfer. That's right. So we'll keep them together. You guys can hang them in your shop in order, 78, 79, and 80. This is a sticker that says 74 that got stuck on these things years ago. Brett, 15 on all four of them, numerical in order, and I believe they are new for 1974. Let's get this thing on the timer, and away we go. Tractor Mike, 20. You're kind of tricky to hold on to here. How about like that? And I can hide in the middle of them. Well, that's weird. I hear it differently now because it blocks my ears. So I block my ears like this. Whoa, that's kind of funky. I don't think they're dealer plates, no, because they would. I think all the dealer plates actually say D. Z meant this was somebody at the end of the alphabet. W, their last name started with W, X, Y, or Z. Yep, no problem, Kenny. Except I missed the 30-second mark. We're coming up on 1 minute. Tractor Mike at 20 as we're getting close to the 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Tractor Mike at 20. Briggs, 22. Matt, 21. Jesse, 25. Jesse, 25 on Facebook. Few seconds left. And that does it. Jesse on Facebook at 25. So I believe that's your first win, Jesse. So if you've got any questions, you can always give me a shout afterwards, or the payment information is in the text part of the video if you click on that. So congrats to Jesse on his first win. What's next? What do we got? Ooh, I got a couple of great caps. I got a grease cap and another great cap. This other cap just came in. So let's do. There's Alex. Let's do this. I just got this cap at the auction the other day, and it's great. 30s era Dodge Brothers. I think it was for a wire wheel. This thing is cool. I think I've got it. I didn't double check, but I'm going to go ahead and sell it. But this thing is great. I think it's wire wheel. So check this out, guys. Oh, yeah. This thing is awesome. It's got some scuffs, scratches, and dings, but I think it's early 30s, so it's probably 90 years old. The DB, very prominent, very clear in it, the way it's stamped in here. Backside's in good shape. Has these clips around the outer perimeter. That's why I think it's snapped into a wire wheel. Nut farm is already loaded and cocked. This thing is cool. Bird at 20. Let me give you a size on it. 6.5. Shipping on these smaller items is all included in the 48 states, Alex. So 6.5 across the Dodge Brothers cap. Chrome plated, just some dings and scratches. Mary, 35. Let's get this thing started. We are live on the timer on the Dodge Brothers cap. It's a great piece. I think it's going to generate some interest. I've got Mary at 35. In fact, it has, because I missed the Nut Farm at 30. I've got Mary at 35. Nut Farm at 40. And there's 30 seconds. Now, I don't think it's the Doobie Brothers. I'm going to go with Dodge Brothers. There's 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go. Nut Farm at 40. We're ticking away. We're coming towards the end. Nut Farm at 40. Few seconds left. Keeping an eye out. Not knowing what's going to happen on this one. And that does it. Nut Farm at 40. All right, squeeze in a grease cap. We haven't done a grease cap yet tonight. I think this is a Studebaker one, an early Studebaker, because this is smaller with just the block style S. These earlier ones are typically smaller, and this is only 2.5 across the back. So this is a smaller sized grease cap. It's got some scuffs and scratches up here, but the big S for Studebaker, very clear, very prominent. It actually is actually cast into it. We can look in the back, and you can see where the big S is actually cast into this piece. Across the hex, it is 2 inches. Good idea, Nut Farm. I bet you guys are getting thirsty. So this is probably teens, maybe early 20s, because they got a little larger in the later 20s on these grease caps. Like I said, I think this block style S was Studebaker. In fact, it's in a square, and then the S is cast into the square on this Studebaker cap, and it is 2 inches deep as well. Mary starting us off at 10. Let's get this thing on the timer, and away we go. Mary at 10. And there's 30 seconds. 1 minute left. I think it's late teens, early 20s is what I'm thinking, Kenny, since it's smaller in diameter. One minute gone, 30 seconds left. Rusty Okie 20, Bert's 15. I've got Rusty Okie at 20. Coming close to the end, Rusty Okie at 20. Mary 25. And that does it. Mary at 25. Snuck that in right at the end. That was good shooting on Mary's account. Amy Cole, just found your channel. AMC Spirits, do not have any AMC Spirits. Late 70s, early 80s Malibus. I do have some of those. One 4-door, a couple of 2-doors, and a couple of wagons on the late 70s, early 80s Malibus. Okay, what do you guys think? You want to squeeze one or two more auctions in, or are we ready to move on to the magazine? What do you guys want to do? You have to call me. That's the only way to get a hold of me is call me. If you message me, I'm not going to see it. Auctions. Okay. I guess that's a dumb question, right? What do we got? Let's see. Let's do a plate and then a badge. How about that? We'll squeeze a few more and then we'll see where we're at. Let's go up north again for another killer license plate. Going back 100 years. 100 years back to 1925. And that's right, Kenny. I did grab another one from our friends from Minnesota. And there again, everything rusts in Minnesota. How did this thing survive for 100 years? It's been up a little bit up here. Look at the back side of this. I think this is original paint. Silver with black letters. 100 years old right now. I know, is that not crazy? This thing came out of the rust belt and it has survived 100 years. Brett started us off at 10. It is kind of an odd size, so let's check that out. It is 15 3/4. I don't know why they come up with 15 3/4, but they did. By 5 1/4. So it's 15 3/4. Alex at 20. This is all embossed. We can see from the backside all these letters. Everything is all embossed in this plate. Does not appear to have been restored. This paint does look to me original. There's no brush strokes or anything. It looks like it was just the way it was done originally. So this is a cool piece. 100 years old. Balin wire at 25 on this 1925 Minnesota plate as we hit the timer and go live on this one. Balin wire at 25, and here we go. Alex, 26. Balin wire, 28. Alex, 29. 30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Kenny, 29. Dennis, 35. Balin wire, 32, but I got Dennis at 35 already. Balin wire, 38. One minute gone, 30 seconds left. Balin wire at 38 on a 100-year-old Minnesota plate. Kenny at 40. We're coming out of the wire. I don't know if there's going to be a knockout punch in here or what's going to happen here, but we're coming out of the wire. Kenny at 40, 100 years old, just about ready to wrap it up. Kenny at 40, Dennis at 45. And that does it. Dennis at 45. Got that in at about 129. Dennis at 45. That one was fun. It's always cool doing stuff that's literally 100 years old and still looks that good. We got another cool emblem we're going to do yet tonight, too, so. This one for our Chevrolet fans, I think this is Corvette. I actually got this in the whole box of horn buttons I bought at Lawrence Swap Meet last year. So I don't know for sure what this is. But the rally flags, the size is telling me Corvette, late 60s, early 70s, not sure. On this rally flag badge. It's a cool piece. I just don't know for sure what it is. It's about 5 inches in diameter. It's chrome-plated pot metal. It's got some specking in the pot metal there. I'm sure the flags were originally painted, obviously red and then black and white on the checkered flag. The backside is just kind of a blank. Obviously, it has a lip around it here where it was mounted. And notches where, something would have gone through that and held it together. So like I said, I think this is Corvette, but I'm not sure what, where, how, when, or why on this rally flag badge. But it is a cool looking piece. Brett starting us off at 15. We'll go ahead and get this thing on the timer, and let's get rolling on this badge. Fuel cap insert, I kind of thought that was one of the things I was kind of thinking, but I'm not really sure. So, but it's cool. So we're going to throw it up here and see who ends up with it. Brett starting us off at 15. $30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Only one bid. I thought this was cooler than that. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Brett at 15, the only bid. Nut Farm's peeking around there. We're ticking away and ticking away and ticking away and nothing else yet. Balin Wire, 20. Tony, 22. Pete, 22. Few seconds left. We're coming down to the end. Tony at 22. And that does it. Tony at 22. Pete came back with 23, but it was too late. Kenny had a 23. It was too late. Balin Wire had 26. We had as many bids after the fact as we did during it, but Tony at 22, to be fair, is who we had at the 90-second mark. All right, guys, what do you think? That was a good time tonight. We can save some more of this stuff for later unless you guys absolutely have to do more, but we'll go ahead and catch tonight's magazine and go ahead and wrap that up. I got more stuff up here on the desk. I'll box it, put her back down in the boxes. And we'll keep moving. You bet, Alex. Glad you had a good time. We do her every week. I need to get a haircut, man. It's starting to get long. It was a 60s Corvette fuel door insert. That's kind of what I was wondering. Okay. We do this. We start at 7:30 every Sunday, Amy Colo. We start at 7:30 every Sunday and work through the whole episode. So if you're having a good time, come back and join us. Mary's jumping off. Glad you were here tonight, Mary. Let's get into tonight's magazine. We're going to finish up Car and Driver from a few weeks ago. Just like, glad you're having fun. Like I said, we do it all the time. Austin got paid for. Awesome. Just like the post on the Nobody's page that I'm looking here real quick. I want to make sure I get the credit right. That Kyle posted. The 1995 Probe GT, this stuff from the 90s. That's where things are going. The popularity is changing, is shifting to that stuff. So tonight we're going to do the second half of the March of 1992 Car and Driver. Sounds good, Tractor Mike. Get some rest tonight, buddy. We'll do the raffle fairly early. We usually do it a little bit earlier when we do the giveaway. It won't be first thing, but we'll get to it fairly quickly. So we did the first half of this magazine a few weeks ago. Let's catch the second half tonight. And then we'll probably go back to some of our auto trade journals next week, back it up 100 and some years. So anyway, where are we at in Car and Driver? I don't know that I've ever seen one of those, Joe. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled. I don't know that I've ever seen that plate. Sounds good, Briggs. See you next week. Starting in the middle of the magazine, since we did the first half earlier, we're going to give you a Hudson badge as we get ready to get into the magazine. But it's kind of funny because Car and Driver covered a lot of late model stuff, new cars coming out, road tests. But they had an interesting article in here, the Van of Aquarius, talking about the old hippie vans, the VW buses. And this actually does lead into something else. But they had a pretty big spread on, I'll call them hippie vans. That's what they were in the 60s. That's where they were in the 90s. And people still call them that today, on the old VW buses. So a little bit of a retro article there. And remember, this is in 92, not 72. And what that led up to was kind of funny. Leading up to the new, totally VW's excited, the Volkswagen Eurovan for 1992. Now, what was kind of funny about this is the famed microbus is now the biggest and slowest of the minis. That's how they title the Volkswagen Euro GL. It's the biggest and the slowest of the minivans. Many people were raised in families propelled by Generation 1 and Generation 2 VW microbuses. They were homely, slow, rare, and cheap. That's how they started the article off. Sounds good, Joe. See you next week. Glad you were here. Now there's a new VW minivan, Generation 4, called the Eurovan. It's homely, slow, and rare. Cheap, it's not. The 5 models to be introduced late spring will range from $17,000 to $24,000. So that was pricey in 92. That was pretty good money. So Kenny learned to drive and took his test in a 69 VW bus. So let's get some of the specifications on the 1992 Volkswagen Eurovan. 150 cubic inch, 109 horsepower in this little van. It ran the quarter mile in a blistering 20.2 seconds at 67 miles an hour. And it went to 0 to 60 by tomorrow. Yep, 0 to 60 in a whopping 15.8 seconds. So they were not a rocket ship. The crazy part about it is fuel economy. Now, this is city rating, so not highway driving, but it only got 17 miles to the gallon. So you definitely would have figured that it would have gotten better mileage, but it didn't. And that was what city driving, the actual car and driver observed fuel economy in their testing was only 15. So yeah, not exactly stellar mileage for absolutely no performance numbers whatsoever. And another van article. I thought this one was kind of interesting. It's several pages, so I didn't get to the whole thing. Polar moments. We drive four-wheel drive minivans as far north as possible without falling in and getting wet. Then we fall in and get wet. They took 5 minivans to Alaska to road test them in 1992. Getting on the freeway had something to be desired. Yes, it did. When 0 to 60 was 15.8 seconds. You were easily up to speed by the time you reached your exit. So this was kind of interesting, and some of you guys are going to remember some of these vans. Here they're all lined up, if we can tell what they are. The Astro, the Chevy Astro, the Dodge minivan, the Ford Aerostar, a Mazda, and a Toyota. All-wheel drive minivans up in the frozen tundra. The Chevy Astro. That's right, you missed the exits because you didn't want to stop. The Toyota Previa. Who remembers these things? Anybody remember these god-awful things? I'm curious if these ring a bell with anybody. The Toyota Previa. Kevin L. remembers them. Yeah, right, Jeff, they were. Now, believe it or not, part of the reason I wanted to bring this article up is I want one of these things. I want a Toyota Previa van. I've always wanted one. Now, you guys know I'm not a Toyota fan, so why do I want a Toyota Previa? Now, if you guys remember these things, that's right, Pete. You're exactly right. It looked like an egg. So here's what I want to do. I want a Toyota Previa. I don't have one. I know I don't have one because I've had this idea for a long time. Here's my idea. If I can find a Previa, because it looks like an egg, or to me, a roly-poly. So my plan, if I can find a Previa, is we take the Previa and I take the loader. And what I want to know if it's really a roly-poly or not. So what I want to do is take it out back, take the loader, put a fork under the front, pick the front end all the way up, okay? So it's like sitting on the back bumper. Then I want to shove it over, and I want to see if the weight of the engine will take it all the way around back to its wheels like a roly-poly. I really want to know if these things are actually a roly-poly or not. So that's why I would love to find one. They're getting kind of hard to find now, but that's why I've always wanted a Toyota Previa, because I want to know if it's actually a roly-poly or not. I want to see if it'll go all the way around. So if I can find one, we're definitely going to do a video on it, but I haven't found one yet. But I've had this plan for years. If I could ever find a Toyota Previa, I want to see if it's actually a roly-poly or not. So I'm all for it, Balin Wire. I just got to find me one. So anyway, back to the van article. Off the roly-polies. I do think it's a roly-poly. I just want to know if it's really, truly a roly-poly or not. You're right, Kenny. It is doubtful, but it's going to be a lot of fun to try it. The Mazda MPV, the Ford Aerostar. Who remembers the Ford Aerostars? That's right. There's one way to find out. And the winner of the all-wheel drive category in the vans was actually the tried and true Dodge Caravan, performed the best. That's right, Glenn. If you have one come through, let me know. We will come and get it. Or we'll come try it at your place. We can do it at your place too. Sounds good, Matt. I think that was all you had, so I think I held it. They did make some ugly vans back then, but like Pete said, the Astro I thought was probably the better looking one of all of them. Well, keep your eyes open, Glenn. If you find one, we'll come up there and we'll video it at your place. I won't have to haul it back here because you got loaders, so we can use your loader if we have to. So anyway, and they did a full test on this thing. I mean, that all the breakdowns on all the vans. So a pretty in-depth deal. Let's catch a couple of more articles, and we've got some great ads. That's what I figured, Glenn. I knew you had plenty of loaders around there, so. Something that was not exactly earth-shattering, but was tried and true and would go forever. The 1992 Buick LeSabre with the 3800s. Great cars. Those things would go forever. Hey, if we can find one, maybe Glenn will find one. He can bring it with him to the gathering, and we can do it here when everybody's here. I doubt you won. I doubt it was you if you got hit by a Mack. And one more underwhelming car from the 90s that, there again, they sold a gajillion of them. Extremely popular back in the day. You don't see them at all anymore. The Ford Escorts. This one was on a basic sedan, but they did make an Escort GT that was a heck of a car for the time being. You could get them with a stick. They were pretty neat little cars. This one, unfortunately, was just the basic LX four-door, but the GTs were pretty sporty little cars for their day. So maybe Glenn will find us a Previa for the gathering. Then we'll have to bring it back here to do it, but that'll be all right. Let's catch some ads. We've got a lot of great ads in this magazine. Since we're getting towards the back, there was a lot of cool ads in here we want to check out. So gets a little thinner on articles as we get closer to the back, but great ads. Now, one thing going in the, that's right, totally VW. Those GT Escorts were pretty sharp cars. So sounds good, Matt. Glad you were here. Mercury Lynx, exactly same thing. Yep. A really great car from the 90s that, you know, even by the late 90s, these things were very sophisticated and very good looking cars, was this generation of the Pontiac Bonneville. Pontiac was really hitting on all 8 cylinders in the 90s, or 6 cylinders in this case, 8 cylinders in the F bodies. But Pontiac had some great looking stuff in this era. Yep, that's right, Jeff. I thought, and by the time they got to the late 90s, the Bonnevilles were great looking cars. GT meant get technician, yeah. And speaking of the Escort GT, that's our next ad. Have you ever turned a curve into a smile? Have you driven a Ford lately? The new Escort GT. I think these cars are going to make a little bit of a comeback. I know a lot of guys that had them when I was in school. They were an economy car, but the GT was a sporty car. You could get a stick in them. They had ground effects. They had wheels. I haven't seen one in decades. I think these cars are going to have a little bit of a comeback. I think they've got a following, and I think those cars are going to come back. And you're right, Jeff. For the time, they were a little pocket rocket. You know, nothing was super fast in this era, but for a small economy car with a stick, they weren't terrible looking, and they were a lot of fun. Sounds good, Randall. Glad you were here tonight. And who remembers this before the internet, before the days of YouTube, where you literally punched in whatever you wanted to learn? You had to order your information from your complete auto bookstore, Classic Motor Books. Who remembers these ads? Yep, Jeff remembers them. I figured this was going to ring a bell for some people. And another thing that's going to probably ring some bells for some people that's still out there, just in a different configuration. You know, obviously everything is mail order anymore, but who remembers when Tire Rack was pre-internet? I know a lot of you guys remember these ads too. Tire Rack pre-internet. Wheels, tires, you had to go through the print ad to try to find what you needed. P used to stare at those ads and dream. I'm sure you remember them well. Here's an ad that I bet a lot of you guys don't remember. Kenny remembers the Tire Rack ads. I knew that was going to bring back some memories for some people. It was Classic Motor Books from Osceola, Wisconsin. We can find out real quick, Gary. That's right. Think of what it cost to run that ad. Classic Motor Books. That's it. You're right, Gary. Osceola, Wisconsin. What was it at? Right. Yep, right there. Balin Wire bought tires from Western Auto, yeah? So while a lot of you guys remember Classic Motor Books and Tire Rack, I seriously doubt that maybe one or two of you do remember this, but I bet most of you do not remember the Saturn factory racing team. Yes, Saturn actually was involved in sports car racing. Jeff remembers that one too. This next ad was just it was hilarious. Had to bring this one up, even though it's car related, but it isn't a car. United Cellular Communications. This is in 1992. Cell phones. Everybody was in the game, and look at what this stuff cost. Remember, we're in 1992. Motorola, Fujitsu, GE, Mitsubishi, Panasonic, Oki, Diamondtel. I mean, everybody was making cell phones. I don't think I saw that one, Jeff. United Cell, he was an old NASCAR sponsor. Ben's wife actually sold Saturns. So she probably remembers some of those promotional materials fairly well. Rather push a VW than drive a Saturn. You know, $500-600 in 1992 for these phones. So that was big money. I remember in that era when I was in high school, I was passing on running and driving second-gen Trans Ams for $500 because I just needed parts cars and I didn't want anything complete running and driving, and passing on several cars at $500. So that was good money in 1992. Couple more things I want to catch, and then we're going to wrap up this magazine from 1992. And obviously today, if we want to learn something about a new car, we just type it in and this stuff pops up on YouTube. We see it, we hear it, we watch them test drive it, we learn the facts about it. Well, in 1992, you couldn't do that. If you wanted to see these new cars in action, see the actual road test, see how they handled, see what actually happened, for only $19.95, you could send your $20 check into Car and Driver and get, the 1992 car review, including the Viper on video. Yes, you can order your own VHS cassette of the new car review for 1992. And the only other thing I wanted to catch in this magazine, remember, we're going back to 1992, a little over 30 years ago. The SUV market was just starting to come alive. Obviously, they'd been around for a long time. You know, Travelalls that were made back in the 60s, Suburbans, they started making them in the 30s. You waste your $20 from your VCR 8, it's But in 1992, we were on the verge of something that today is completely almost mandatory. But in 1992, it was foreign territory. Nobody had been there. Nobody had done it in mass production. Nobody had really even attempted to do it in mass production. Yet it was coming. And here we are 30 plus years later. It has almost become the industry norm, the industry standard almost. Luxury SUVs. Yes, the first mass-produced. Now, there were early ones out there. The Grand Wagoneer was pretty nice. You could get a pretty fancy Travelall. But cranking them out on a massive basis and really becoming mainstream. In 1992, the new Jeep is designed around these specifications. The new Jeep Grand Cherokee coming soon. So the Grand Cherokee kind of set the luxury SUV market on its ear. Obviously, they still crank them out today. They've sold millions of them. Basically, it was the original luxury type SUV that was just coming out in 1992. There again, in today's world, it's kind of crazy to think about not having luxury SUVs because that's the industry standard anymore. However, it was pretty new territory in 1992. Obviously, it was a massive gamble that paid off big time for Chrysler and basically became the industry standard for family vehicles. So I thought that was worth mentioning just because of the time frame and where we're at. So that wraps up our March 1992 edition of Car and Driver. Cover price of $295. Obviously, the reason we started this, the Dodge Viper Scoop. We measure the speed of the Viper Strike, secret exhilaration results, because the Viper was just coming out. Obviously, I'm a Viper fan. I love my Viper. And it just working for Chrysler in the late 90s, was always impressed with those cars. So that's why we started this magazine, and a lot of cool stuff in it going back to 1992. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll get some more cool stuff out next week. I don't know if we'll go to the 50s. I don't know if we'll go to the teens. I don't know what we'll do. But regardless, we're going to have some fun with it. Thanks, Kevin. Glad you enjoyed it. Kind of crazy to think we're looking at stuff from 1992, and that stuff is almost antiques in Kansas, at least. Kansas is 35 years. Some states, 1992 already is an antique. So crazy. Glad you liked it, Kenny. Like to try to mix that stuff up, look at different eras, different issues, different things, because we learn different things when we go back and put ourselves in that time frame, in that window, in the car world. Thanks, JP. Glad you liked it. Let's get one more Hudson badge slid in there as we get ready to wind this thing up. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. And what's coming up? Obviously, I should be here Tuesday to do Toy Tuesday, so that should be normal. We will get some videos out this week. You bet, Sam. We'll get videos up, some more members-only videos this week, and then the videos that went up last week will be public this week. Wednesday, I actually messed up the video Wednesday night. I hit public on it, but then I turned it back off to members-only. So it was up for a few minutes, but it will be back up Wednesday night public, and then we'll get a few more videos for the new videos for the members up this week, which will go public the week after. Yes, we did story time earlier on a 1967 Buick Electra 225, a big old deuce and a quarter. So, yep, we did catch it tonight, Jeff. But with that, I think we'll go ahead and get ready to wind this thing down, get ready to wrap it up. We will plan on being on Tuesday night, since the last couple Tuesdays have been kind of screwed up. We'll try to squeeze one in. I don't know if we'll do some more baling wire stuff or if we'll do something different for this week and then go back to baling wire after that. Baling wire sent so much great stuff that we've got at least another week, maybe 2 weeks on it. So I don't know if we'll take a break from it this week or get it wrapped up. We'll see how things shake out for Tuesday night. And we'll get some more content up Wednesday and Friday as well. With that, be sure to get in. Be sure to email Pete if you want to be part of the gathering in April. It's going to be a great time. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate the Johnny Carson comments. Don't necessarily know that what we do here is of that quality, but I try, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it, and I'm glad you guys think that way of what we do here. Sounds good, Brett. Dan from Defiance on with us. Glad you guys had a good time tonight. You bet, Jeff. Sounds good. And we're going to wind things down. Appreciate everybody being here. Once again, I appreciate you guys being here and making this what it is, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise, being involved, being engaged. That's what makes this a chat, and that's what makes it a great time. Tell your friends, see if they want to stop by and hang out with us. And we'll do it again next week. Episode number 247. We'll work our way up to number 250. If you got ideas for 250, besides the promo recap, we can definitely squeeze the promo recap in. Let's do some fun stuff for number 250. If you've got ideas, let me know. Email them to Pete or whatever, or call me, whatever you think you want to do. We'll see what we can squeeze in for, as crazy as it is to say, episode number 250. So Have a great week, everybody. We'll see some of you Tuesday night. If not, we'll show up to see you right back here next week, 7:30, same bat time, same bat station, for some more Sunday night live chat. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next week.